And hello, I think I am live. Yes, yes. It's Friday. It's Friday. Well, and I'm streaming with a new microphone that's installed in this gamer headset that my son was so kind to lend me. And it is so weird. I look like a pilot in a chopper. And honestly, it blocks out every other sound. So I really feel that I'm sitting in a bubble, like I can only hear my own voice. So yeah, so there is this swing arm of a microphone. So you probably hear me huff and puff through this whole stream. But let's see if it kind of removes the crackling. I know that a lot of people have messaged me back that, oh, there was nothing wrong with your sound when you went live the last time. But I I only watched the first 5 minutes of my last Friday stream, and I do hear some sort of crackling or like loose connection or something. So I'm gonna try this headset tonight, and promise to go back and watch the recorded and see the quality. I need to be better at watching my own streams to see if something is wrong. But I just hate watching anything that I have recorded and uploaded because it's like, oh, my Tarzan English is just so cringing to listen to myself. So that's why I never detect any errors unless people takes the time and tell me like, hey, heads up, something was wrong with your last upload and stuff. And thanks to Kathy Arbor, I also was warned that my last upload only was in 360 pixels. Sorry for that. I hope that this live stream is in better quality than my upload at 360p. Hi, Gail. Welcome to my desk. I want to start out showing some happy mail that I got from Sandra. I'm just going to minimize my screen so that the notification don't block out the chat. That's always a good idea, right? So here we go. Yay, hi. Oh my god, Sandra is so cute to send me some lace. I know she wants me to use it for my jelly plate, but oh, how can you? Or maybe you can, I don't know. It's just so beautiful. It came with the envelope that was like sliced up in the end by the postal system. I don't know if they were checking if she's sending me drugs or whatnot. Or maybe they were just, what did I do with the envelope? Okay, the envelope got like my address and stuff on it anyway. But the end was sliced up so that I don't know if anything fell out because they didn't even take the time to reseal it. So that's actually how I found it in my mailbox. So just putting it out there in case Sandra is watching this and something is missing and she's like, oh, she forgot something. But I'm so gonna save this washi tape with teeth on it. So Halloween. Look. Oh my god, it's so funny. It is so funny. And look at this scary border with spiders. Isn't it perfect for upcoming Halloween? It's just so nice. And here we go, the lace. The lace. Oh, I think it's so difficult to make yourself use these lace pieces on the gel plate for the first time. But once you dip them in, it's just such a beautiful tool to get really nice prints. Oh man, look at this. Love this. I can actually, separate them and then just start using just one. Just one. Oh man, thank you so much, Sandra. You're so sweet and generous. Oh, I like this a lot. I like the mauve color on this one. I might actually not be using this for my gel plate, but for a project. Oh, this is so cute. Hi, Anlar and Rhonda. Welcome to my and Connie. Welcome to my desk. I'm opening Happy Mail from Sandra. Oh, this is so pretty. This is going to be fun to try and gel print with. You know, the curvature, the flower, the border right there. Perfect. So beautiful. Oh, also this, right? I'm thinking about all the paper dolls that people are creating. It could be like a whole dress. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Sandra. And she also sent me some stickers. Whoops. Ah, and this die cut got a little bit bent, but you know what? I can stretch it out. I think I'm just gonna mist it lightly with water and then put it on press in a book. So it's gonna be just fine. And then totally Edgar Allan Poe vibe, right? This napkin for Halloween. So I guess what Sandra is trying to tell me is that I should do a Halloween spread, you know? So yeah, I think that's coming up. I will wait with that till October, I think. Okay, before I start my stream showing you guys my art journal, I want to go through some paint that I promised Kathy Arbor. I was talking about this Schminke Academy acrylic color brand that I really enjoy using. And she asked in her last stream if we had a brand we used that we could recommend. And then I just typed in that I'm really fond of this at the moment. So I went out and bought several jugs of them. I started with this one just as a tester, also because I needed a titanium white acrylic anyway. And what I really love about this is the consistent, and it's not thick, but it's not thin either. And yeah, maybe I should tell you guys that what I came from was this, right? Arteza. So anything is like a better step up than this, I think. So no wonder that I really love this. This is a little bit thicker than the Arteza acrylic tubes that I've been using a ton, but it is not as thick as the Amsterdam. Now I'm just gonna line up my brands, right? It is not as thick as Sennelier, that's like more heavy bodied than the Amsterdam. And the quality is definitely not as nice as the Golden and the Artist Grade Winsor & Newton. So it belongs here in this range, also price wise. But I like it a lot. You know, price wise, I think it's a good. Oh, did I forget this brand here? That would come like first. I would say like the Arteza, and then the Ceram Cream Coat, and then when we're talking about saturation in pigments, that would be like my range going from not so saturated, thin, almost transparent, thin, consistent, going upwards towards better and better paint. But oh my god, I'm not the right person to ask about reviewing brands of paints. But price wise, I like them. So I bought the 250 ml um, containers because I am tired of tubes, tube ringers. I am tired of containers like Sennelier where I tend to squeeze out too much and then I cannot get it back into the container. So I really love that on this one I can just like unscrew the lid and put back in the container if I took way too much out. Because I'm really notorious bad at setting up my palette when I start a project because I don't really know for sure what kind of paints that I'm gonna use. So sometimes I squeeze out blobs, like generous blobs of colors that I don't even touch. So it's just nice when you're like a frugal idiot like me to be able to put it back into where it came from and use it another time. So because I was down in my local art store looking for schminke, I wanted to pick up the Schminke Aqua Gold Powder, but they were sold out. And due to some delivery difficulties, they couldn't even tell me when they are planning to get it back in stock. So I came home without that, but it's okay. You know, it's always nice to have stuff on your wish list, right? But I also, oh sorry, oh yeah, of course I have to have a cough today. I also picked out this. This is very interesting. It's I oil paint, or I paint with oil, better way of saying it. And this is to an eco-friendly way of cleaning up your brushes. It doesn't contain solvent like turpentine oil, so it contains water and an alcohol base, which means that it will not put your racks on fire afterwards, which is super annoying if you're using like odorless mineral spirit or turpentine. Then you have to decompose your paint racks in a safe way, because otherwise they can ignite by themselves, turn themselves on fire, or what it's called. And this is supposed to be less chemical, so you might be able to paint inside. And that has been an issue um, if I'm doing projects where I need heavily to clean my brushes in between layers and stuff. I like to paint outside because I don't sit in a well ventilated space. But this should actually makes it more healthy for you to do indoor painting. So yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I think it's a good news that it's more eco-friendly. And I think it's eco-friendly because the alcohol will vaporize. So I imagine that I will take a jar and then I will rinse out my brushes. And then, for instance, I can put the jar away in a safe place and then let the alcohol evaporize. And then the bottom should dry out completely, and you can dispose of that in a more better way than just you know pulling it out in your toilet, or I don't know what. Yeah. I am like the worst person to give reviews and to hear my thoughts about what I buy is also really like scary sometimes. But for you guys coming in, I am streaming today with a headset that I borrowed from my son, and I look like this pilot in a chopper, and it keeps out any noise from around me, so I can only hear myself vaguely. And it's so strange to sit in this vacuum. I feel like I'm sitting in a barrel. I can't even hear, regular noises around me. So I hope that you won't be able to hear me huff and puff. So yeah, it's just a little bit funny. Hi, Kathy. Oh, Kathy, you have to watch this from the start because I am doing just some talk about my favorite Schminke Academy acrylic color. Yeah, just because you asked, on your last stream what we like to use, and I haven't really noticed anyone else using these Schminke acrylic bottles. So yeah, maybe it was just fun for you guys to see what kind of brand that I use up here in Denmark. Okay. Yeah, this is a beautiful book, right? It's made in India and it's leather and it's embossed, so there's like uh text. It's very textured. And first oh, thank you. First, I started it out just as an art journal, and I thought that I should use it like a personal journal where I could just draw a little drawing and then journal a little bit. But then it just evolved into being this journal only consisting of fan art from Rings of Power. because on the first page here, I wrote Rings of Power, and then on Danish it says here that it's the 13th of September, and me and hubby just started watching this series, and I was so mesmerized about Nori, one of the characters in the TV series, because I thought she was so cute with all these forest decorations in her hair, and her big eyes. She's reminding me a bit like Frodo, the Hobbit from Lord of the Rings, because he also got these really huge eyes. So that's what I wanted to take out with this drawing right here. And then because I realized that, hey, they're not hobbits, right? They're something else. They're called the Harefoot. So it's actually a brand new character. And then I was reading up about it and realized that it's not a genuine Tolkien character. It's a character that Amazon actually have created themselves. So it's not in the Tolkien lore. Any mentioning about Harefoots at all. So then it became a little bit exciting, like, what? Who is this? So I just investigated that it's a nomadic people who lived in the wilderlands of Rovanian, and the whole family is called Brandyfoot. So I just drew in Nori, her dad, and her mom, and an orphanage friend of her called Poppy is just connected to this family. And then because it was like Rings of Power, we were watching it on TV, right? I realized that the opening scene was from Numenor. Um, for some reason, I recognized Numenor from Lord of the Rings, and in my imagination, it was like this fabulous place when it comes to architecture, because the elves taught humans to build their way. And I'm just saying humans, but they actually, the average age was 300 to 350 years for men living in Numenor. So when I say men, I don't mean like normal generic men we would think of today, where the average age of living is far less than 350 years, right? So there's just something really mesmerizing about fairy tales. So of course I needed to do a drawing about this island, and then I drew the map because the hobbits are up here, but the Harefoots lives here. So yeah, I don't know. And then things just evolved. Things just progressed. Like I went back to this page after watching episode 4 of Rings of Power, because then they discovered that the symbol have the shape which says that it's like a place of direction. It is, yeah. You know what? I don't know if any one of you guys is watching Rings of Power, because I might come with some spoilers or reveal something in case. So I'm sorry if I am disclosing something that I shouldn't. Really interesting. Well, don't hobbits have hairy feet too? Oh yeah, both the Harefoots and the hobbits got like these giant hairy feet, and the skin on their feet are very leathery, so they don't wear shoes. And the Harefoots are nomads, so they don't build houses and do gardens and have domestic pets and stuff. They move from place to place. So that's what so far, it's a brand new string of character designed by Amazon. So I don't know much about them, but I think they're interesting for some reason. Oh man, I need to get a life, right? just I just like fairy tales so much. Um, Numenor, when you uh, the TV series takes place in the first out of 3 ages, and in that first ages they're actually building up the island Numenor. So that's why I drew this, which is a port city called Amenelos, and they're not finished building it, but they are known for their huge statues carved into mountains, and of course the Elvish architecture. So very elegant, very sophisticated. Um, Probably at that time age, a super modern city where everything is under control. Like they have sewage and law and policemen, whatnot. Like a very established society. So yeah. And then I thought that I should do a page spread about King Gilgalad because he is the Elver King in the First Age. So he's like the boss of them all, right? And I also wanted to try out the embossing powder to do these circular guild tokens that are used in Numenor. This is so funny. Listen to this. Since they have 350 years of living, they are able to educate themselves if they want to, having 20 guilds, like 20 educations. They can spend 200 years of their life educate themselves to be architecture, carpenters, smithies, seamstress, whatnot. So it's just so funny that they own this round token when they have educated themselves in an area. So instead of having like we do today, like a diploma on a wall, they have a golden token. So yeah. Um, and I need to do it in my journal because I think it matters because it's new and it's different. So I really liked it a lot. Um, I really enjoyed the scenes with the dwarfs, and they are living in Khazad Dûm, which is a big mountain where all the dwarf have their really beautiful kingdom. And it's the first time that we get a sneak peek of this kingdom while it's still intact. And I hope that you guys don't think that I'm spoiling too much, but if you saw The Lord of the Rings, you will know that the kingdom inside Khazad Dûm was destroyed by a Balgok, right? So I'm not revealing too much. So it's always when you read the books, you imagined how it looked like. But this is the first time that because of this TV series that images has been attached to Kazakh Doom and how it looks inside, and it is so beautiful inside. The elves taught the dwarves how to bend the light so that they can grow gardens deep inside the mountain, and they also have internal water fountains. So it's like being in this capsulated world where there is still sunshine, gardens, trees, and waterfalls. I mean, what's not to like, right? And then it's carved out by these dwarfs, and they are building huge bridges going from one place to another. So it was just well done. And in The Lord of the Rings, Gimli taught us that you couldn't pick the difference between a male and a female dwarf because they looked alike. Female dwarfs had like big beards and swear like sailors. They have this Cockney English accent, which is like really dwarf like. So I always pictured that female dwarfs were looking like men. So it was a surprise for me to see that they actually have the most beautiful female dwarfs characters in this TV series. And one of them is Princess Disa, and she is such an amazing actress. Behind the stage gossip, a week before shooting the scenes, she was actually pregnant and gave birth to her child, and she's breastfeeding the child while they are recording the first episodes 1, 2, and 3. So in her costume there is this thing that she can take off so she can breastfeed. I mean, what a power woman, right? I wasn't able to do nothing after I gave birth to my son. So I'm just thinking like, oh my god, she's able to, like be a super actress, having a lead, almost like a leading role. And I say leading role because she bossed this husband around like She really is in control. So yeah, it's just yeah. All the elves come from this imaginary place called Valinor that nobody really knows where is. I think we could translate it into like it's a heavenly kingdom. Um, yeah, like a realm outside this world. So you have to travel through a portal to get to Middle Earth from Valinor. And in Valinor, there's like no sun that lights up the day. All light comes from two trees. One tree is called the golden tree, and then the other one is called the silver tree. And they grow in a city called Tyrion. And that's where the whole TV series starts out. You see a scene where Galadriel is standing with her brother called Finrod. I think she had in total six brothers, but they're focusing on one of her brothers called Finrod. And she's a very young little girl. Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings are like 8,000 years old. So when we see her in episode 2 and 3, she's around 800 years old. It just, they live eternally, right? They have like eternal life. And I wanted to draw this drawing because I have never seen in the Lord of the Rings any pictures filmed about this place called Valinor, and this is the first time we get the opportunity in this TV series to get an idea of what some writers thinks that Valinor looks like. And all the light comes from the trees, so I try to make it look like they are oozing out the light and not being shined upon from a star. And okay, I'm just gonna say whatever I'm gonna say in it, and if you guys think that it's like spoilers or something, I'm so sorry. But these two trees were cut down by an evil force that first was named Melkor, but then changed name to Morgoth. And I think Morgoth later on changed name to the Sauron that they're chasing in the Lord of the Rings, but I'm not sure. I just think that he's one of those characters that are changing his name throughout the three ages. Just like Gandalf starts not out being named Gandalf, he's just called the Grey Ranger, and then the Gandalf the Grey, and then he becomes Gandalf the White. But a lot of people have known him as Mithrandir. So the same with this evil man in both Lord of the Rings and Power of the Rings. There is this evil essence, this evil entity. Yeah, entity is maybe a good way of saying it. One of his spiders are chewing down the trees, but for some reason, this TV show started up by telling people that Morgoth was the one destroying those two trees. And that's like not how Tolkien describes it. But okay, if Morgoth was controlling the spiders, then yes, he could have demanded them to take down the trees. But I just got a little bit annoyed, because I'm anal that they deviated from the Tolkien thing because I don't know. Yeah. And that was one of the first things where I'm like, what? Yeah, okay, let's go further on. This is Galadriel, and I tried to paint her as soft as possible, which was difficult because she's not in this TV series like I predicted her to be. Because the Galadriel that we meet um, in the cinematic version and also in the book, she's very sophisticated, friendly, and kind. She has been on Earth for 8,000 years dealing with man, so she have heard any excuses ever you can imagine, and any false lie. So she's very intelligent in depicting what people's real agenda is. She's like super intelligent. The Galadriel that we first got to know in in Peter Jackson's version also. So I find it very difficult to recognize this young Galadriel that are portrayed in the Amazon TV series Rings of Power, because I don't find the same qualities. So it was difficult for me to have to paint her portrait. I knew that I wanted her to stand in armor because she is portrayed as a princess warrior in the TV series. So she had to be in her armor, and I chose not to depict her in a war scene in action, but in a more softer way, because that's how I hope that the TV series will bring her. And worse to know, also at this time, she's supposed to be a mother and just gave birth to a kid. So it's just so strange to see her on these military missions far away from home, being like acting straight up like I don't know. She's very rude in this TV series. So yeah, yeah. I actually think she acts like a Karen sometimes. It changed for me when I saw episode 3 and 4, and I was like, oh my god. Because up until then, I was very forgiving. I knew that they had to introduce a lot of characters, and I knew that they had to browse um, several years span in a very short time. So I was understanding if they had to kill a lot of characters on their journey, to follow some sort of timeline. I did not expect that they have twisted Galadriel's character into like a warrior princess that's like super entitled. I was getting flashbacks from early video games where a character walks up to this character on a town hall, and the way one character in a video game asks for direction is that you walk up to this character and then you just say, take me to the city hall, and then the two character walks away. That's actually how she is acting in front of people in this TV series. Like, she's very demanding. There is no please, thank you, like